today I am excited to share with you my own island cake. Woohoo! So since I saw this cake online, I've been wanting to do it, so I finally got around to it. All credit goes to Kitchen Journal by Carl Panna. Just want to get it out there, so let's get started. I have 3 layers of cake and they're 7 inches. I'm going to stack them and frost each layers with chocolate ganache. I am trimming the sides so they can be much smaller. To create a mountain shape, I am going to cut some cake off from the side, from both sides, and I'm going to trim it at an angle just so it looks like 2 different mountains standing together. And the trimmings I have molded it up to place it upon the cake to give it that height and peak, the mountain peak. So yeah, I've made a mountain shape. Well, excuse me if it doesn't look so good, but it doesn't have to be perfect, trust me. So next I'm covering in chocolate ganache to keep the cake nice and firm when it hardens. This will prevent the crumbs from falling over when the jelly is added. I have covered it in ganache and I am covering it in white chocolate just to give it that mountain effect. The next step now is to prepare the jelly for the cake. I am using an unflavored gelatin here, and I'm using about 120 grams of gelatin. I'm adding 1.5 cup of cold water to it to dissolve the granules of the gelatin, and then I set it aside to bloom for 20 to 30 minutes. And now I'm also boiling water with sugar to make a syrup. Then pour the hot syrup into your gelatin and mix until it's all dissolved in the water. So now I'm about to add my food coloring. I'm using ice blue color. Then I'll pass it through a fine sieve to get rid of undissolved gelatin for a nice and smooth jelly. Now it's time to prepare our cake pan mold while the jelly is cooling down, because you don't want to use the jelly while it's too hot. And also be careful when the jelly cools completely, it starts to come together and cake up. And if in case that happens, all you have to do is pop it in the microwave and heat it up for a few seconds. Check like every 10-15 minutes interval just to be sure you're not overheating it. So yeah, and to come back to liquid form again. For this step I'll be using a loose base pan, cake pan that I have. I tried to use a 7-inch spring foam pan, cake pan, and it was too small because I thought, okay, I already trimmed it and it should be fine, but apparently it was not big enough, so I needed a bit of space on the sides. As you can see, the bit looks a bit too tight, so I had to switch it over to a bigger pan. So yeah, I ended up using a loose base 8-inch cake pan for this cake. So what I've done here is to wrap the cake board and the cake pan together with cling film wrap or plastic wrap, and taped it to the cake pan and to the board just so it can be nicely secured. This is to prevent the liquid, the jelly, when it's being poured, from seeping out from the bottom. And also I am placing carefully the acetate wrap or sheet and placing it inside the cake pan just to touch the cake pan, and I'm just going to tape them together so they stay put. And now I'm slowly pouring the jelly inside. I think I poured about a cup, and then I refrigerated it for a little while to set, and then I added the rest. I'm going to leave it in the fridge for about 6 hours. I think I left it overnight. So now I'm prepping my grass, well, the moss, you know, the green bits on the mountains. Yeah, so we're going to use, I'm using digestive biscuits. You can use any cookies or any biscuit you have. I've crushed it into crumbs and color it different shades of green. Yeah, I have like a deep green and a light green shade, and then I have one that I didn't color. And now the jelly is set and it's already looking like an island. Just had the finishing touch to it. So I'm peeling off the cling film and all the wrap and everything else. Now I'll be back. I noticed the jelly has seeped up to the outside part of the wrap, of the acetate wrap, and it's stuck to the pan. So I decided to use a warm knife. I dipped a palette knife into hot water and run it through. As you can see, I'm running it through round the old cake pan so it can come off easily. This is just to release, to easily cut off the jelly without having to pull the whole thing with the cake pan and tearing the jelly into pieces. After successfully getting the cake pan off, I am now carefully pulling off the acetate sheet of the jelly. You need to be careful with this, but my jelly was really nice and firm, so I didn't have to worry about it. It was really rock hard firm. And now I'm going to use a black food coloring to paint the bottom of the mountain to give it a bit of depth and yeah, like a shadow effect. So now I'm about to add the cookie crumbs, the biscuit crumbs to it, to the mountain, and I am covering up the old jelly, the ocean area, with cling film wrap or plastic wrap just to prevent the crumbs from falling on them. Yeah, so I'm going to carefully sprinkle them on top of the mountain peaks and just eyeball how much I need. It might help to actually have a template, a mountain picture that you're looking at, just to give you an idea of how much. So here I went all out. I added too much green, and later on I had to take some out because I thought, oh, they look too green for mountain. But anyways, so yeah, do yours however you want to. There is no limit to what you can do. The final step is to add the wave to the ocean. So I'm going to use a white food coloring paint to draw a wavy shape on the jelly. And we're done. I'm going to cut into it and show you how it looks on the inside. As you can see, it's absolutely delightful. And I'm going to go in and have some cake. The jelly is quite chewy. It's actually chewier than I thought. And the cake and the jelly are totally different in texture, so they're not my kind of combination, if I must say. I would not pair them together on a normal day. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up my cake, and I'll see you next time. So have a lovely day, and bye for now.